Todd Camhe, Global Head of Strategic Partnerships at Blue Bear Protection. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. This is great.
Yeah, really excited to be speaking to you. So I think firstly, we can jump right into what is Blue Bear Protection, what's your mission, and what are the range of products that you offer?
Great question. Great starting point. So Blue Bear Protection was launched in the very first few days and weeks of the pandemic. And the founders of the company saw very early on that there was a tremendous need for essential PPE. So it started with masks. They had connections to New York City and New York State, and even on the state level and the government level, there was a shortage and they couldn't get these products. The founders of Blue Bear have a big supply chain and logistics operation in China, so they were very quickly and efficiently able to bring in N95 masks and 3-ply masks to New York, helped out. And as they were doing that, all their friends and family members were calling and saying, "Can you help me get masks?" So they very quickly realized that there was a need to go direct to consumer. So they put up very quickly, created a brand, Blue Bear Protection, put up a Shopify store, started advertising, and you could imagine the response and demand was huge. I started very shortly after. I was introduced to Blue Bear because a very close friend of mine, who I'd been working on some projects with, was actually recruited by them to build out the e-commerce platform. That's his business. So he was really, it's a lean team. He was hands-on. He was doing all of the Shopify integrations, getting all the products live. And we were having a conversation. This is April of the pandemic. This is April 2020. So as everyone knows, that businesses were closing, businesses were shutting down. My background is media and entertainment. I had no background in e-commerce. Projects I had been working on for a year and a half, 2 years, just went away. So my friend reached out to me and said, "Do you know anyone who could help us with B2B and wholesale?" And I said, "I will. I'll do it." And I met the founders. We hit it off. Everything was virtual. And very quickly, I just started working through my network. Again, there was demand. Launched some very huge initiatives right out of the gate for large health care organizations. We provided, again, essential PPE. That's where we started. So masks, face shields, antibacterial wipes for the whole public school system in the state of Pennsylvania, Delaware, West Virginia. And we started doing these big activations to really help get these products into the hands of people. And one of the first calls I made was to Zach, your founder and CEO, because I knew I had a relationship with him. I knew what you guys were doing, and I thought it would be a great partnership to be able to get your clients, who I knew just from my own experience would be having the same issues as my clients, right? Getting this stuff, and not only getting it, but getting it timely and getting it reliably. Right, because there was major disruption to the supply chains. So some of the early conversations I had with you guys, your clients were ordering it however they could, and they weren't receiving it. And that obviously it was a big challenge in the early days of the pandemic. So we got rolling, early on, and it's been a great partnership, and we're very proud of the work we've done with you guys to, make sure that your clients, got stuff that was hard to get. And, we always gave it to them at great prices. And most of the time, if they met a very small minimum, free shipping and reliable. And that's kind of the overview. It was a long overview, but that kind of encapsulates a lot of information there.
Yeah, definitely. Our customers needed that PPE. And so it was an amazing partnership to be able to work with you and get them what they needed. So you're talking a little bit about, you have the company had some logistics partners. I'm curious, what were some of the strategies that Blue Bear Protection took on in order to manage that supply chain disruption? Like what was it? What was your secret?
So we have more than one secret, which I'm more than willing to share. It started like our primary kind of special ingredient is really our relationships and connections with the supply chain and logistics operations in China. So we were able to get into the factories, deal directly with the manufacturers. This is when container prices were skyrocketing. There were massive delays due to COVID shutdown. And we were able to establish, the most reliable and efficient supply chain out of China. Obviously, there are hiccups and wrinkles along the way, but we also were able to put in huge orders. So we were bringing in a lot of inventory, and that gave us the ability to sell omni-channel direct to consumer. So we set up Shopify, we set up Amazon, we sold on Kroger's marketplace. We had a lot of fulfillment outlets. What we also did is we strategically partnered with the warehouses pretty much in every region across the United States, so no one was too far, because there were trucking delays and shipping issues. So that was another important ingredient. But and then on the B2B side, working with you guys, it was leveraging the e-commerce infrastructure, but being able to accommodate larger orders and enterprise size orders. And again, most importantly, having a lot of different ways to ship this stuff. All right. So, obviously UPS, FedEx, DHL, but sometimes, we would rent our own vans. If it was a truckload, we'd, use our connections there. And, that's what made us succeed, really throughout. And also, as we got rolling, we introduced our own products, right? So we started developing our own products. We developed a sport mask when people wanted, they didn't want to wear a medical mask. We saw the huge demand for antibacterial wipes. We actually developed our own product called Blue Bear 99 with antibacterial wipes. And that's when we've kind of evolved and now are pivoting into our post-COVID business, which is product development, contract manufacturing out of China and other markets around the world, and getting out of all the PPE inventory, which now easier to get than ever. It's easier and less expensive to get than it was pre-COVID for those people who still need it. And now we're really focused on working with clients to help them innovate their own products, help them with their e-commerce solutions and infrastructure, because we really, under the most difficult and trying circumstances, we were able to build, a very lean and efficient operation that now we can help, bring to other brands and partners, including you guys and some of your clients.
When those orders started coming in and you developed that partnership with Order.co, very practically, what did it look like to be a vendor of Order.co? What did that process look like with POs, with payments? What was that experience like?
I mean, honestly, I'm not just going to say this because you're hosting this. Incredibly efficient, super easy on me and my team. It was so easy that I usually just handled it myself. A purchase order would come in, I would sign for it, digitally acknowledge it. It would get sent. I'd forward it directly to our logistics team. They would process the order. It would get out same day or next day. Your clients would receive it. Your platform allowed us to update the tracking information right in the same thing. So the communication was seamless and intuitive and very easy. And it allowed us to be super efficient. And it allowed us to also make sure that, everything got out, right? Everything was done properly. And then in terms of payment, the way we had it worked out is, at the end of the month, I would just submit a master invoice with all of the orders. You guys would process payment in a very timely fashion, and it was great. It's a great, I'm especially proud of this partnership because like I said earlier, I know the founders from the very early days. I immediately saw, not only their vision as entrepreneurs, but their, who they are as people. And, fundamentally, the premise of the company is similar to, how we like to work, which is really to add value and help customers, and help them solve for problems, help eliminate inefficiencies. So it was really a great partnership. And the founders of Blue Bear, many times said, "Oh, these guys are the best." I mean, it was, it's a great partnership, and it's exciting that the partnership will, not only continue but really grow. We're already talking to you guys about some very, very interesting things that we're very excited about. So it's really our cultures and the way we do business is very much aligned. And I think it's really about providing great value and great service to the customer. Again, as entrepreneurs, we have a lot of discussions about innovation and how we can continue to add value in this e-commerce ecosystem, both direct to consumer, but also on the B2B side. And what we've found is, we created a brand of air purifiers called Blue Aura. And we really did it to see what it would take to do it from idea to product development, package design, everything. Get that product here, get it, sell it direct to consumer, multi-channel, right? So we sold it on all of our marketplaces. We built our own store. We are selling it on Amazon. And what that proved to us is, we could do it very cost efficiently. We can compress the time because of our relationships and team in China. So looking forward to the future, we're very excited about doing that, not for our own products, but for our clients, their products, and for our, in the sense for you guys, identifying products that your customers really need and value, and coming up with, customized solutions for those clients and for those products. And again, doing it in a way where we're providing the highest quality, the best prices, because I know, right, it's a huge part of the value proposition that you bring. So anything we do in collaboration, we're super confident that we're going to be offering, the best pricing. And again, that's going to add more value to your customers. So, we're very excited about that.
That's key. That sounds amazing. If you can help us zoom in for a minute. And was there any moment that there was like this aha of like, wow, we really have something here, back when you started really getting Blue Bear Protection up and running and having those orders flowing from order.co to you guys? Was there any moment where you're like, wow, like this is something that's going to be very powerful?
Yeah, I'll tell you what it was. And again, it starts with just confidence in knowing that our products, when they said they were on their way, they were actually on their way. And when I saw our ability to be able to deliver, one box of masks to a consumer or a truckload, right, to somebody, that was the aha moment. Because in the early days of the pandemic, people would tell you and promise you would get your stuff. They were not lying to you. They were telling you the truth. But what they didn't understand was how deep and significant the disruptions were to the global supply chain, right? So people would be telling them something, and it was a game of telephone, and everyone was telling the truth, but it would all break down. And we had hiccups along the way, but the big aha moment for me personally with my clients was we were getting the calls in panic, right? We were getting those panic calls. I ordered a truckload of masks. I need them to operate, right? I can't, I have a nursing home. We can't, right? I have this business or that business. They promised me they'd be here last week. Now they're telling me next week, and we would get them, those in 2 or 3 days, right? So that gave me confidence that I knew working with you guys, we wouldn't drop the ball. And I think that was, especially the first 6 months of the pandemic, that's what allowed us to be the most successful. And from there, we were just able to build upon, the fact that we delivered when no one else could. And that obviously gave us a big strategic advantage, even now. We're not advertising or marketing anything PPE related, and we're selling. We still sell on Amazon. We still have whatever we have left, we're selling through it. But without any advertising, we're still every day. And I don't know who is buying KN95 masks or why, but people are still buying them, and we're still providing them. Same thing with our antibacterial wipes, which again is my favorite product. When we're out of that, I'm going to be very sad because I use them for everything. And that was a great product that we developed, and we saw a need. We created a brand. Those are manufactured in Turkey, so a whole different different supply chain issues. Raw materials were scarce for a period of time, so that was also the fact that we were able to do that in just a couple months was incredibly impressive.
Yeah, absolutely. Just thinking from the consumer side, like you said, it's almost hard because we almost block what that time out of our lives when we think about like all of our orders just continually being pushed, like people moving and just not having couches, right? Like that was, I think people were just sitting on the floor because their couches were getting pushed months out. And so I guess that aha moment really is when the package arrives at your doorstep and you're like, wow, I have the things that I need. But not only that, like the most critical products that people needed at that time.
Yeah.
So quite the aha moment.
Right. And your clients were able, because you have such a great platform, if they had anxiety, is this going to get here? They just clicked on the tracking link and they could see exactly, when it was going to arrive or if there were delays. I mean, obviously, FedEx, UPS, DHL, they had their own issues and they had their own delays. No fault of ours or yours or anyone's, just, the reality of the time. But, they weren't that significant comparatively to, just whole categories of products not being able to get here, whether it was home appliances, right? The chips for cars, like major disruptions. That was unprecedented. And as we look back, again, as entrepreneurs, like lessons learned, one of the lessons I believe is like where we are today in the world of e-commerce and fulfillment and shipping and logistics infrastructure has probably accelerated 5 to 10 years because of the pandemic. We would have gotten here, obviously, but we got here a lot faster. And it's interesting to see now that and now e-commerce has slowed down, right? People are buying less stuff. So it's interesting to see, there's no more, shipping container prices are way down and, warehousing is available again. Trucking is available. So it's calmed down considerably, but there's been a lot of innovation on the software side, certainly on the sales and marketing side, and obviously with what you guys do on the platform side. So, I think the business overall is in a very good place. I think for what we're able to do for very small brands with our sourcing and manufacturing relationships, is also exciting because, it's very hard to navigate overseas manufacturing. You really need a trusted partner, and it's hard to find a trusted partner. So, we come in there, and because we've done it, we're very confident that we can help, new businesses, new brands, entrepreneurs who have a great product, have great ideas, have great marketing, but they need products at a good price point, and they need a reliable supply chain and distribution. All right. So, we're going to collaborate on a lot of things, a lot of good products for your clients on that.
Looking forward to it, and I'm sure our customers are as well. So
Yeah.
Todd, thank you so much. Really appreciate you taking the
Pleasure.
time.
This is great. Again, I'm a huge fan of everyone over there. So this was a real pleasure. Thank you for having me.